A couple of questions that I get on a regular basis is where's my data and files and why did Microsoft randomly delete my stuff? Now, when I do a bit of research, it often comes back to OneDrive and the way that Microsoft automatically stores data for certain applications. So, to help you know where to find and manage your information, we're going to go over some of the common scenarios where Microsoft is automatically sending data to OneDrive, and we're going to start with Copilot Chat. When you have a Microsoft 365 business license, Copilot Chat is automatically included. And one of the things that you can do is attach a file to the chat. Now, when you do that, this file is automatically saved to OneDrive in the background. To find the file, you would navigate to the My Files section of OneDrive and go to the Microsoft Copilot Chat files. By default, this will be a private document, meaning that you're the only one who will have access to it, at least the copy that you uploaded. The reason it's important to know what applications are automatically saving information to OneDrive is that any information in OneDrive is tied to a specific person. When they leave the company and their Microsoft account is turned off, all the information in OneDrive is automatically going to be deleted, and that often leads to the statement of, why did Microsoft automatically delete my stuff? Now let's take a look at Microsoft Forms. When you first come to the home page, at the top of the screen, you'll see New Form, New Quiz, and Quick Import. What a lot of people don't realize is that these buttons are tied to personal forms, so you have a risk of losing data here. If we look at the recent forms section for my test environment here, you'll see underneath each form, you either have a name or you have a group name. So anything with my name under it is at risk of being lost when I leave the company. Now, if you have a form that is tied to a business process, then the better thing to do is to go to the My Group section, find the group where the form belongs, and then click New Group Form, New Group Quiz, or Quick Import. Next up, we have lists. Now, when you create a list directly from a SharePoint site or team, it will automatically be associated with that location. But if you come to the List standalone app and click on Create New, just below the field where you type in the name, you have the Create In option, and it's set to My Lists, meaning that this list will be saved in your OneDrive. Now, if you need the information to be available to a group of people, then you need to click the drop-down and select the appropriate SharePoint site or team. But what typically happens is people come in here, they type in a name, this button lights up a pretty color at the bottom, and they click on Create, and just completely bypass the save location. Then we have Microsoft Loop, and this one's a little more complicated because the data is being fed from multiple places. When you come to the standalone app and you create a new workspace, here at the bottom, you can click Add Content. And what this does is it searches for different files throughout your Microsoft account that you have access to, and you can associate them with your workspace. And then in the navigation pane, you'll see all of the files with a little link beneath it, letting you know that this is really just a bookmark to the file, and the file lives in OneDrive. Now, another way that you can use Loop is by inserting a component into an Outlook email. Although you can see the updates in the email, another way to find it is to go to OneDrive and filter by loop. And then notice beneath each one of these loop components, it says My Files, which is your indication that the underlying data is saved here in OneDrive. Loop components can be created in Teams, and one of the most common examples is the agenda associated with a Teams meeting. Now, the benefit of coming here to OneDrive is that you can see everything in one place instead of jumping through multiple applications. While we're talking about Teams, another common area of confusion is files attached to a Teams chat. So in this example, I'm having a conversation with Alex about a quiz, and I attached a Word document. Now, most people just assume it's saved somewhere in Teams, and they really don't think about it that much until they decide they need to delete the file. So, what they'll do is they'll go up to the Shared tab and then they'll click on the three dots next to the file, and you only see download but not delete. So, this is when they usually reach out and ask me where the file lives. And the answer is a folder in OneDrive called Microsoft Teams Chat Files. From there, I'm going to locate the file, click on the three dots, and then you can select delete. Now, deleting files is the most common cause of confusion when it comes to Teams chats. But the second issue that comes up is somebody will select an attachment within a chat and they'll be taken to a page that said, sorry, something went wrong. And this error message isn't super specific, so it's hard to know what caused the problem. In many cases, the reason you see that error message is that the person who uploaded the file no longer works for the company, and so it was deleted with their OneDrive. The last thing that we're going to discuss is managing the recording for a Microsoft Teams meeting. So after the meeting is over, the recording will show up in the chat on what Microsoft calls a thumbnail. Just beneath the thumbnail, you will see a system message that says recording has been saved to, it'll insert a name and then say OneDrive. The name of the person is the meeting organizer. Unless your system administrator changed the Microsoft default, the video will expire after 119 days, which means it will automatically be deleted. There are multiple reasons why you might want to keep the video beyond 120 days, but it requires the video owner to make that update. Some other reasons it's important to know who owns the recording is only the video owner can edit the file, update the transcripts, or download it. And a lot of times the way to get around the expiration date is to download it and move it to a more permanent location like SharePoint. So here's why this matters. Knowing where your data lives is the first step to reducing the risk of data loss and keeping your information safe and accessible. Over the years, I've seen way too many examples of people losing access to critical information because they didn't know that it lived in OneDrive and they didn't figure it out until somebody had already left the company and the data was no longer accessible. Now, to be fair, some companies have a fail-safe in place where the admins can access that data for up to 30 days, but I've not seen this as a common practice. If you're okay with the information living in OneDrive, the last tip that I would share is add an item to your employee offboarding checklist to have everybody double check what's in their OneDrive and move anything that you might need before they leave the company. So hopefully all of this reduces the confusion about where did my files go and why did Microsoft automatically delete my stuff. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.